Well, and we're talking about taxes now. Not that we want to. I don't think any politician in his right mind wants to lead with taxes. It's like a boxer leading with his chin. But we're currently, today, Wednesday, looking at the very least $8.3 billion in the hole, our revenue forecast for the next biennium. And rumor has it that tomorrow's more formal forecast is going to be another $500 million, looking at about 8.8 or even 8.9 billion. We tried to think of a no new taxes budget that would be all cuts back when it was 3.2 and then 5.8 and then now 8.3 and apparently 8.8 now. There's no humane way to do that. We can do it. It's numbers on paper. We can put a budget together that will cut 8.3 or 8.8 billion dollars out of last biennium budget for the new coming biennium. But the pain that this will cause to real human beings, kids in school, students trying to go to college, parents trying to help their kids go to college, patients in public hospitals, the human pain caused by this, I think, is so great that there is no humane way we can write an all-cuts budget. And I think we're simply going to have some kind of backup plan to include taxation. The real question for me, especially given the fact that every $1 billion we cut is worth about 15,000 real jobs, many of them of people who live in my district, is not whether but how we aim those taxes. I don't want to see a simple increase in the retail sales tax. I've made that clear to leadership. I've made that clear to everybody I know. I am willing to go to bat for at least no increase in the retail sales tax, the most regressive taxation. And hopefully, I would really, really hope, some way to cut it in order to balance out some other form of taxation. Retail sales tax, and I don't want to repeat myself, I know I've said this before to anybody who'll listen, is the most regressive form of taxation. It really hurts people with very little discretionary income. It's one thing for somebody relatively wealthy to decide whether to buy more golf clubs and pay a couple of $100 in taxes. It's another when a mother wants to buy a coat or some books for a student, son or daughter. And that's that little bit of taxation. It's only nickels and dimes, but it eats into kids' lunch money. It's not easy money, and I want to cut that. Well, we have to have some alternatives. And we've thought about, yeah, I know, an income tax, right, okay, and everybody sort of rolls their eyes. We know that an income tax could not solve our entire problem, but better our situation by about $2 billion. We know that. And yet the political difficulty of getting it across outside the 37th district is pretty difficult. Yeah, I'm for it. Senator Franklin's for it. That's about it so far. Another opportunity is the estate tax. I know the Republicans scream and they call it the death tax as if everybody pays it when they die. Only the very wealthy pay it when they die. And those people, for the most part, are the ones who benefited from public services, like their own educations, like the transit or the transportation that helps their businesses. And for the most part, I think a lot of those people, a certain publisher notwithstanding, are willing to pay it. They get it. It's pay back to a civilization that helped them get ahead. For example, if we doubled the estate tax only on those estates that are over $9 million, we're talking about very wealthy people here, $9 million in the estate at the time of death, we would have $130 million. We would be that less deep in the hole. And it would not hurt the hardscrabble people, the people who work for a living, at all, because they would not be paying this tax at all. That and the other taxes I've mentioned are from a list put together by the Working Families Caucus, the labor-affiliated members of the legislature. This is not an official Democratic caucus position, and I don't want to represent it as that. It's my own. We know that we need to be ready to find some way to defray the inhumane results of this budget. And how we do that, not whether we do it, it's how we do that, I think is what's going to count most. My aim will be to protect people who are at the bottom of the pile, people who want to work or are working, people very often still in poverty even though they're working hard. You can work 40-hour weeks at the minimum wage, a little over $8, and you're still in poverty. And people who are trying to raise children on that wage, God bless them. We've got to protect them from these cuts, and we've got to protect them from any further increases in their taxes.